people of the internet. My name is Oduor Jagero, and this is Dialogues with Jagero. Bobbie, today I am the father. I am the one leading the conversation.
It's okay, you can have it.
Yeah, I was really... People of the internet, thank you very much for always patronizing us. Let me use Bobbie's words. Yes. Patronizing us and loving us, and we are now going towards 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, and we are very, very happy. We are just about 450,000 on Facebook and about 440 something thousand on TikTok. We also have TikTok Europe that is coming to 35,000, and then we have Instagram that is coming to around 20,000. Yeah. So across all socials, we are gearing towards 1.5 million followers. And I'm so glad, I'm so happy, I'm so glad that I started this podcast. And I'm so thankful to Bobbie for always being there, like the second pilot she is.
Thank you.
And today we are at Amka Cafe, where we are just going to be enjoying tea, talking about fatherhood. And for all the fathers out there, I want to wish you a happy Father's Day. And it could be tough. It can be easy. Sometimes you don't have anybody to help you. But, fathers is what you do once, and you'll always be a father.
Yeah. So
it depends on... sometimes, Bobbie, things happen in life, and it becomes very difficult to be a father. But I think that... if you are a father today, what is important is that from today, are you going to be a father, or you're going to stay non-existent in your child's life?
Yeah.
So I think whatever has happened in the past, it's a mistake. It might be something that is confusing, but now I think the best thing is, how do you go from here? If you are not in the right place mentally, are you not supposed to get help? If there is a problem between you and the mother, aren't you guys supposed to sit down and talk about it? If there is a problem between you and the in-law, is it not time to sit down and talk about it, so that that child in your life can always be in a good place?
Yeah.
What are you thinking about Father's Day today?
I would have answered this question a very different way a year ago, but actually yesterday I spent the evening with my dad.
Okay.
And I was just thinking about how we've come such a long way, to the point that we're able to just even hang out and talk about stuff. And it's nice, it's refreshing, and it is beautiful to have a present father who is there. But before I answer any questions, I think I should throw my questions at you first, because you're the dad. So, do you think you always knew you wanted to be a father growing up? Is it something you had in your mind? And I also take this question even wider.
Yeah.
Do you think generally men want to be fathers? Do you think men have that feeling within them, like innately, that I can't wait to be a dad one day? I really, really, truly want to be a father. Or do you just end up there after not using condoms?
I think that probably the best way to talk about it is myself. When you get married, for sure, you know that you are at some point going to be a father. But I don't think for me, I had the idea of we want to be parents. So I think most of those things, perhaps in Africa, and I think these days people are intentionally talking about whether they want to have children or not.
Yes.
But most of the time, I think the children that we have, or being a father is an oops situation kind of thing, because you also know that there are so many fathers that are not living with their children. They fathered, but they're not in the lives of those children. They're not in the lives of the people that they had those children with. So looking back, it means that a big percentage of fathers that we are having that are not present in the lives of their children, or are not together with them with the mother, are sort of oops kind of parents.
Yes.
For me, I've always wanted to be a father, but the kind of father would have always wanted to be is a different kind of father. A father that is not a father of many children. I have never wanted to be a father of many children. More than two has always been just too many for me. So I am a father of one. My daughter is called Maya Nyabondo, named after my mother.
This cutest girl.
Yeah.
I love her skin. I love her. She's so sweet and respectful and kind. I've met her once, and she's such a beautiful girl.
So it's and I'm right now offering a fatherhood, offering a father figure to the son to my brother that passed away some 4 years ago, and the other two children that are young are still in lower primary. So that is the extent of fatherhood. And sometimes, by the way, I had a situation last week where I met someone, a girl, and we went out for coffee, and I asked her, "Why is your father?" And she started crying immediately. I was so taken aback, like really, really taken aback, like immediately.
Yeah.
And she told me that the father is not in her life, and she really wants the father to be in her life. Really, really wants the father to be in her life. Okay, so I think that it is a place where we have to sit down, take steps back, and say, if I am a father, then what am I supposed to do as a father?
Yeah.
For men, I don't think there is a huge blood connection between the people they sire. It is very animalistic kind of thing where even when I'm herding, cows, and they give birth, we never know the father of the calf. We never know the.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we never know the father, and it stays that way for the duration of the life of that calf.
Yeah.
And sometimes I feel like that kind of male.
It's like a primal thing.
It's very primal that a man would always not have such kind of blood ties, so to speak.
That's such an interesting anecdote. I've never really thought about it like that.
That women have towards their children. It's very difficult for a woman to abandon her child. But men sort of find it easy to forget about what they have sired and go on with life unperturbed.
And it's not beef, it's just biology.
I can't say for sure.
Yeah, but
because also I think that there is a difference between me and a bull.
Emotional intelligence.
Yeah, there has to be a difference.
Yeah.
We could share some little bit of traits, but I think the way we are set up as human beings, we are more than that. All right, so we are more than that. So we need to sort of know that we are more than that. And even when the urge of not giving a fuck, comes about, and you're lying on your bed and saying, is it a good time to call my daughter and check on her, even though I have not seen her for the last 3 years? But then the thought that tells you that you should probably just sleep and forget about it is that primal thought.
Okay.
But then I think now the human thought should be, let me just take that call and call that person and call my daughter and have a conversation with her.
Do you think there's any disturbance within a man's mind and body when he's just living his life without caring about it? Okay, I didn't want this conversation today.
We can just talk about it. I mean, we agreed that we're not going to be bashing the fathers.
Yeah.
And I think there are so many people online that are bashing their fathers.
Yes.
So I think that like you say, that there are silly ones that have decided that they're not going to be in the lives of their children, and so on and so forth. But I think there are so many fathers, and I think a bigger percentage of fathers are in the lives of their children.
Very present.
Could be struggling, could be groping in the dark, but the most important thing is that they are there.
And they're doing their best.
And they're doing their best too. Yeah. Because I think doing your best is the most important thing.
Absolutely.
The way we were raised, like, for example, I was telling you that I was going to tell you the story of my father. And I have always thought that my father wasn't a very good dad to us. But looking back as an adult, I see the environment that could not allow him to be that. I see that his father was not any better. And I am not sure about his I'm not sure about his grandfather, even if he knew his grandfather, And I'm not sure about what his mother, my father's mother, told him about fatherhood, or what my grandfather told him about fatherhood. Because I I think that he was not told anything about fatherhood.
He just found himself in
He
it.
just found himself a father, and that is the tragedy of just finding yourself a father. The other day I was talking to Amani Marangi, a podcast that I did at DWJ that has really...
And it's doing really well, actually.
It's doing really well. And,
yeah.
and one of the things he said was that he did not marry right. He married because he had impregnated a woman. And you see, becoming a father and standing to father based on that can be very, very difficult. You know, so that's what I think. And fatherhood is something that we are seeing. You saw fatherhood is a project, I think.
Like, okay, wait. Before that, I had asked you.
Yeah.
Do you think it's men who, just walk away or for whatever reason are not able to be there with their kids? Do you think at some point kuna a guilt or a shame that they feel, or is it hands-free kabisa, like it's okay, I'm living my life, I have a kid somewhere? Do you think it ever bothers them, or do you think they ever feel the need or want? Because we were talking about the primal animalistic feeling of how men are generally towards kids.
Yeah.
So do you think there's a feeling behind it, like wanakwanga tu sawa mahali wako, even before you tell us your dad's story? Do you ever think now, when you look in hindsight, that whatever your dad was doing or putting you guys through, he maybe used to sit at some point and think, oh my goodness, these are my kids?
Yeah, I could answer that. I understand the first part of your question, but I also want to correct to rectify something, that my father was around.
Okay.
He was in the house.
Yes.
Every day, every week, every month. But what I am saying is that I do not feel that even him being around was a good place for me as a son. He did not take off. And probably it took off emotionally. He did not know how to father me, but I do not think, but he was around. He was a provider.
Okay.
He was a provider. My father was a complete provider, the patriarch of the house. He was called Omundo Mogo Tekot. That translates to maize flour is the pillar of the house, very loosely translated. And what my father used to do, because he struggled with alcohol and his money would be out in a jiffy, is that the first thing my father used to do is to go to the market and get sacks of maize and, siaga them. So that when he has no money, at least my mother would go look for vegetables. Yeah. So he was a provider. He paid for my school fees to the end.
Wow.
Yes, he did pay my school fees to the end of my high school. He did everything. A man like what men are taught to do, to provide, to give money and to give financial help. But as we have come to realize today, is that is not enough, right? Yeah. So I think that, and the men, I think every man thinks about the children he has sired.
Okay.
Because I do not think I would forget about Maya even if, God forbid, the mother left and she went to stay with the mother. I don't know how I am going to start saying that I don't want to see her. I think that what happens is that there are so many factors that come to the fore once you are not in the household where the child is. Those factors are many. It could be the fight between you and the mother. That is the mother refusing for you to see the child and creating so many barriers for you to see the child. And so at some point you just say, fuck it. I don't want to go through this.
Struggle.
If you think that it's your child and your child alone, then stay with her. It could be other problems, mental illness, you are not in a good place, or you have many other children with other women.
So you're like, this one is a bit dispensable.
Yeah, so this one, the mother is okay. She wants me to be in the life of the child.
Yeah.
This one, I don't know where they went. They went to another town. They changed phone numbers. I am no longer able to reach them. So you're just there and you don't know anything. Yeah, I believe that is what happens. But I don't think that men just forget about children like that. I do not think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess that's a really human, thing to feel, because a lot of the times we go through, especially fatherless people, and by fatherless I mean people whose dads intentionally have fucked off for whatever reason. They go through this, whether he was in the house present and just emotionally unavailable or whatever the scenario. We tend to, have I just grouped myself in there, but there's this tendency to assume that men do not have any humanity. So you kind of just block it out very early on because you've seen it coming from your dad. If your dad is the person who sired you,
it be better?
Kind of have this tendency to develop an aversion to, ever accepting that men have emotions or any human feelings because you've seen your dad abandon you. So that's an actual question. I've asked you because that's a question that actually comes up, like, do men really care? Do men really have feelings? If my dad left me, if all the subsequent boyfriends I've been having have left me, because these things show up as daddy issues when your dad was not available for whatever reason. So I guess it's nice to hear that men are not completely animals, for in case there's somebody who had that question. And so then tell me about, your dad being unavailable but being present in the house.
Yeah.
Do you think this was a better situation than if he wasn't there? Because you say it affected you in a lot of ways and it made you not want to repeat the cycles that you've seen from your dad and from his dad. So how did it impact you, him being there but being very unavailable?
You grow up with a lot of fear, I think. Like, for example, my uncles, I think only my uncle called Obondo, Paul Obondo, was having a very stable family, was a very present dad. He was there all the time. He took the children to church. And one of the things I really admires was the way they operated as a house. As a matter of fact, I used to go there some nights to have they used to have prayers before they go to sleep. They read the Bible together, and then one of the family members pray every day before they go to bed. Okay? And the discipline that was there was very structured. My father used to hit us with his fist or anything he grabs. But in the other family, they used to be told to go around the house, like a marathon. That was the punishment. You go around the house, and then you're given a few strokes of the cane, very, very structured, because the mother was a teacher and the father was a pastor, sort of, but a Christian. So that is how it was. So my grandfather was not a very nice fella. He was a very funny guy, right? The problem, he had a lot of anger issues. There is a time he almost killed a cow in my presence. He took like a rod. So in the village, there is a cow shed. And then in the cow shed, there is the entrance to the cow shed. So they used to have like rods standing like so, okay? And then they will have something like this, and then they will be the rods crisscrossing so that the animals do not come out.
Yeah.
So he took one of those rods and hit a cow with it on the horns, and both horns went off. And that cow bled for hours.
Oh my goodness.
And my grandfather would cane you anywhere. I remember one of my cousins luring me on the after being told by my grandmother that I was cheeky and they needed to get hold of me. So they organized tea, and then they wanted to lure me. But my grandfather, when he's angry, you can always tell.
Yeah.
So when I approached the table, I just realized that there was something really off. He wasn't looking at me. He was looking down. And my grandfather, whenever you approach, he has to look at you and talk with you. So when I saw that the guy was not talking to me, I said, there was a problem.
You knew something.
Yeah, so I took off. So my grandfather had a lot of anger issues. But he was also,
he a drunk?
Yes, he was. My grandfather had 2 wives. And him and the second wife were drunkards. So they used to drink all the time because the second wife did not have a child. So they were just always drinking and getting really drunk. Sometimes my grandmother was the one that was taking them food in their drunken stupor. You see. So then my father also got into alcoholism. because changa is something that is very available down there.
Yeah.
There are lots of it and very cheap. So my father also got indoctrinated into drinking and smoking.
Smoking what?
Smoking cigarettes. So I think that is where I lost it. I think that the only culprit in my father's life was the alcohol. Otherwise, he was a very great man. So that is the story of my grandfather and my father. Okay? But they took care of their families. My grandfather had a lot of cows. And there was a lot of milk. As a matter of fact, it's my grandmother that mostly raised us. The food coming from our household. You know, every time that there was hunger in our household, we will go back. I will always go to my grandmother because my grandmother was a very good cook. She used to cook really, really well. I was telling you the other day about my grandmother's tea.
Yeah.
Amma, who was I telling?
Yeah, it was me.
Yeah, I was telling you about my grandmother's tea. And all his food was well thought out. Whether it was kamongo, he would first of all smoke it. Then she would have to let it tokota.
What's kamongo?
Kamongo is mudfish. Mudfish is mumi.
Catfish?
Catfish, yes, catfish. Catfish is kamongo. So she would smoke them, and after smoking them, she would put them to dry, and then she would just have them in a pot, bubbling and bubbling for long periods of time. And then she would add milk, sour milk, and then she would add butter. Butter, I don't know, monya luo. Monya luo is when you are preparing sour milk in luo using a gourd, you keep turning it. So my grandmother, most of the things I see about my grandmother was her sitting on ndiri. You know ndiri? Ndiri is that thing that's around the house. That thing that looks like at the base of the wall outside there is that thing.
Oh yes.
So in Luo it's called ndiri.
Okay.
So my grandmother would always be on the ndiri, just doing that gourd like this. So it's like ko. Do you know what ko is? Ko is a gourd, but a bigger one. So they will put fresh milk inside the gourd, okay, and then let it simmer for some time, and then after 2 days they will start, just turning it like this, hundreds and hundreds of times. When you are turning it, the butter comes to the top.
It's like a churning type of method.
Yeah, they just churn it, and then it will form butter at the top.
Okay.
So they will use the sour milk and then the butter.
Okay.
To make
Africans
the fish.
are very innovative.
Yeah, it was very nice. So that's what I remember about my father. My father used to tell us huge stories about the politics of this country. He was a good reader and a very good speaker. And especially when he was tipsy, he could go on and on and on and on about politics of the country. He will tell us the stories of the war. He will tell us the story of Moi. He will tell us the story of Kenyatta. He will tell us the story of Oginga Odinga. He will tell us the story of George W. Bush. He will tell us the story of Saddam Hussein. He will tell us so many stories. And he loved music.
What kind of music?
He loved Luo music. Ochieng Kabasela. He loved Daudi Kabaka. He loved all of them. And he had a radio where he will have to have batteries for that radio, and he used to listen to VOA and BBC a lot. So in the evening, these radios had an aerial, but the aerial will retract down and then lala on the radio, okay? But then he will do that, and when you see my father doing that, it's time for BBC.
Time to chill, yeah.
Or VOA.
Yeah.
All right? But he would do that most of the time when he doesn't have money. He doesn't have money for alcohol.
So now he's coming back to chill with you guys.
Yeah, he's just chilling and telling me stories, and it was really beautiful. I think part of it was very beautiful. My father did the best he could, and at some point I lived alone with him in Kisumu, Obonga. So he would leave me in the house with some money to go get sukuma wiki, to go get eggs, and then I will cook. Sometimes when he had the money, I would go get, ringo, meat. And then we will cook and we will just be with my father. The funny thing that in Kisumu, he never drank a lot because he had to go for beer or something else.
It was more expensive?
Yeah. So he did not drink a lot. In fact, most of the time he was drinking a lot in the village. Okay. But in Kisumu, he was just all right. Yeah, nowadays a lot of people say that I look like him. There is a picture that I took in Kisumu last time.
Yeah.
And my sister told me that is my father. Yeah. And she actually sent me the photo of him in Mombasa.
Standing like that?
No, sitting like that. I looked like him. So I think also the brains are coming from him, and I cannot tell the intellect of my mother because she never. Oh, my mother was really shrunken.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Was it her personality or because of her environment?
It was just the environment.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know the way somebody, you can't tell whether somebody's intelligent or not. You really just can't tell because of the environment. I'm a shrink too.
Yeah. Okay, maybe she was more outwardly emotionally intelligent than she was, when it comes to things that require reading and stuff, because you can see it in the way she sacrificed and the way she was always there to make sure.
I think it is difficult when you're not equipped to see that, because first of all you're a child.
Yes.
And secondly,
you think it's normal.
It's
just your mom being a mom.
Yeah, but I think that it was the shrinking part of it.
Yeah.
She had no wings to fly. She could not she could not be in a show. She could not show herself. When the show is nigh and you stand there on top of the ball table and you start walking, that's when people start seeing you.
Yeah.
But when you are out there, nobody is seeing you, and you're not given opportunity to be on that, to be in the moment. People can't see you, and so sometimes you just forget about yourself. Like people who are in so much problems, they don't read, they don't watch, their brains are not stimulated. They are just different. They're just indifferent,
subdued.
So you can't see through somebody's intellect. But now, for example, there is a gentleman that I have that usually helps me with a lot of things. I have a feeling he doesn't know how to write. Mm-hmm. Because he has never sent me a message. Never, ever. In the last 3 years.
And he doesn't reply your texts.
I don't. All right, people of the internet, I hope that you're enjoying this episode very much. And I just had a break to tell you about my new book. Everybody says that there is no job. And that is true. Also, that was me 10 years ago. The problem is that everybody is trying to get a job in their town, in their city, in their marketplace. They ask friends for jobs, mothers call uncles, uncles call brothers, but there are no jobs. Let me tell you what no one is telling you. Jobs migrated online. What I actually mean is there are many, many jobs around the world and there is no one to do them except you. I work for Americans myself. I work for Europeans. I work for the Chinese. I work for the Australians. I work for the Canadians. And so, because I have done so much for myself, I said to myself, you know what? I should compile what I've been doing for the last 15 years. So in 2024, I wrote a digital book called Goldmine 18 Hustles for Africans. And then in 2025, AI came. People say AI is taking away our jobs. And for me, I'm going to say false. There are actually AI jobs. Jobs are not being taken by AI, but there are new jobs online that are there because of AI. Now, mimi ni nani? I created more jobs. And for now, in my new book, we have 25 online and offline jobs that you can leverage on if you do not have a job. So in this powerful volume 2, I share 25 new actionable online hustles specifically researched and tailored for Africans. My new book provides clear step-by-step guidance drawing from my extensive experience and research, including the mistakes I've made and lessons I've learned over the 15 years that I have worked online. So, what can you do online? You can become an executive assistant for busy folks in Europe, America, Canada, and get paid for tasks like watching videos and taking online surveys. Okay? You can build a lot of things. Build a business as a virtual assistant, start an e-commerce shop without capital, be an affiliate marketer, or you can also become actually an English tutor and tens of AI jobs. If you have a job, that is fine. But I also know that you can buy this book for that brother, for that sister, for that mother, for that cousin, for that husband who is watching Netflix all day at home. Buy it for your friend who is always asking for cash. You know that friend. Now, all the information is on the description below. You can also inbox me, you can WhatsApp me, or go to my website, which is oduorjagero.co.ke. And now, back to programming. Send him texts. At some point, I just realized that we could.
Okay, so, okay.
Actually, I have to ask him tomorrow when we meet whether he can read. But he's so brilliant.
Yes.
Now, as an adult, I can see that guy can take care of anything. Like he will clean after you, and make comparisons and do things.
Sharp.
Yeah, very, very, very sharp.
Yeah.
So I think he has allowed himself to come out, but I'm not sure about his education. I actually should ask him.
Yeah. Great conversation starter.
Yeah.
You know, as you're speaking, I'm just thinking about my grandfather as well. My dad's dad. A lot of similarities. So I don't know if it's a cultural thing because my dad is from Luoland. And his dad was also very, very violent, a very angry man. He was a drunk, but he was very present. He was consistently in the home. He was always there. He raised his kids. But I can see the dynamics are very different from my mom's family in that the violence in my dad's family has begotten violence. You know, that's why my dad ended up like that. My mom came from a father who was funny, present, amazing, emotionally available, kind, just a really, really good guy. Like I have amazing fond memories of him. Everyone loved to be in his home. Everyone loved to be around him. He was such a comedian, like a really, really nice guy. And I can see it a lot in my mom's personality. The way my mom loves to laugh and she's funny and she loves to speak and tell stories. But on the other hand, my dad, even with his siblings, they're just really subdued. Like they're very quiet and timid and silent. And they're not very close with each other. They fear being around each other. It feels almost as, you know how when you're all hanging out and it just feels, this is not right.
Yeah.
It's like, do you guys really want us to be here? But I can see it's not even them doing it to us. It's just how they are with themselves, even within their family. And this begot my dad, who was very violent. Now he's changed, but he was very violent. He was a drunk, very unavailable. I didn't grow up with that fatherly love or attention or him being present. And I can see how it has affected me right now. Me even being able to sit and say positive things about men, it's taken so much growth and so much healing to be at a place where I can even say I hung out with him yesterday. And, you know, tulikuwa tunapiga ma story. But how it has affected me to have a dad who was like that, because my dad was also in the house. This is the similarities I'm saying I've noted with your story. My dad was also in the home. He used to be there. Alikuwa anapotea, but alikuwa hapo. But we never bonded. There's no memories.
Like my sisters never talk about my dad.
Yeah, like there's nothing to say. Everything I know I've been taught by my mom or the women in my life. So it's not really to take away from men or from fathers. It's just, honestly, yesterday I was getting my nails done and we were actually discussing Father's Day, and I was asking my nail technician, do you have any plans out for your dad? And she said, to be honest, my dad died, but even if he were here, there's no difference. I don't think about him. I don't remember him. I have nothing to say. That guy was always drunk and he beat us all the time. And I see this run across a lot of, especially millennials and Gen X's and maybe kuendelea juu. So it's sad. I mean, not many people have nice memories, but also in the same breath, I'm happy that we're able to sit here and reconcile and say, okay, my dad did this, but I can notice the good things he did as well. You know, you keep saying your dad was brilliant. He was very learned. He was such a great provider. He was very present in the home. I mean, kuna vitu alifanya kuwatesa, lakini pia kuna vitu alifanya zenye ni worth noting. So even in the same breath, my dad, I can see his active efforts towards trying to be present now to make amends for the time he lost. And it's a very awkward position to be at, because you're essentially trying to get to know someone who was never there at all.
Yeah.
So I guess my next question is going to be, if your dad were here right now, do you think you guys would have, had a better chance to have a better relationship or engaged at two evil?
I have a feeling that my father would not have had any other way but to reconcile with me, because I wouldn't even call it reconciliation. I am a very good, after I came to Nairobi, I taught myself how to start conversations. And
hence dialogues with Jagger.
not really, by the way, not really. But I pride myself in somebody who gets into a room and I can get somebody who never talks to talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have intentionally been learning how to start conversations. Like even cops. Like I disarm them very easily. Very, 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 very easily. And anywhere I go, I just tell somebody I see you and I start talking about something that is very interesting about you. I will talk about your hairstyle. I will talk about. The other day I met a lady and we started talking and I asked and I started this conversation. By the way, are you a doctor? And she was like, no, I'm not a doctor, but I wanted to be a doctor.
Just like that, you've made friends.
and we start talking and we talk. So I think my daddy would have really opened up to me about himself. In fact, I would have really loved if he was around. Now, to be like, well, I have an uncle right now that we are completely estranged. We don't talk, which is a shame, because of some of the things that have happened around family. That, but I think that we would be in such a good place with my dad right now. Because also, I know that in our family, we are very much predisposed to alcohol. But also the funny thing with my family, it is in my family that people quit alcohol so easily. The easiest family in our place is us. There is no one in our family right now that drinks.
Oh, wow.
They all quit, yes. My younger brother was an alcoholic. He quit. The one that my elder brother was an alcoholic. He quit. Most of them, even my cousins were alcoholics. They quit. So I think that right now my father would not be drinking. By the way, I have a feeling he would not be drinking. I would be having such a good time with him. Because all I have for him is love. Yes, I really, really love my father.
And grace, especially now that you're the dad.
And grace. He was a lost man, and I think that he did not enjoy his life. Maybe he did a little bit of enjoying his life, maybe, because somebody might say that
in his own way.
Yeah, kuhepi, kuchapa pombe is enjoying life. So probably that. But again, also even right now, a lot of people are asking, how do I be a good dad right now?
Where are you drawing your template for how to be a better dad?
I simply read. I read a lot but I'm really struggling too, yeah? I'm really struggling to be a dad. The other day I was telling you that I bought my daughter a bike and she wasn't even thankful about it. I think she has only taken it out once since I bought it. After putting enough money to buy it. And shipping it.
Wait. Was it something she wanted?
Yeah. But I realized that kids outgrow what they want very fast. So you better buy it then when they want it.
Okay.
So two things actually happened.
Yeah.
That have really taken me aback. She comes to the house and my wife tells me that Maya is saying that she wants to join the skating club in school. And so I am like, okay, so now I have to get skates. So I imagine that I got the skates from United States on Amazon and shipped them, and they were like 8 kilos. 8 kilos times 2,000
that's a lot.
Just the money to bring it.
Okay.
And then the price of the skate that I don't want to talk about. It came. My nephew, who is a skating teacher, came to the house, and she refused to wear them. She did not go out to practice with those
So
kids.
why? She's already over it?
I don't know, man. That's what we have to figure out. And so by then she had asked for a bike from the mother like last year.
Yeah.
And we did not get it in time. And then
Yeah.
She's not interested in this kid. She's not interested in the bike anymore. Probably bike because she's struggling to learn it and probably like that. But that's fatherhood, right? You go out of your way.
You're being taught to be patient, to still be kind and accepting and understanding.
Yeah, so a lot of things going on there.
Yeah.
And there is nothing you and sometimes it is for lack of a better word, thankless. But you know what? It doesn't have to be. You shouldn't be receiving thanks, because this child is your responsibility. They did not ask to be here.
Yeah.
And so if you're demanding them to be thankful, that's your problem.
Yeah.
Because you see when a camera comes and it breaks down and you need to fix it, when you fix it, it doesn't say thanks.
Thank you. You're supposed to do it.
You bought it.
Yeah.
There's a Luo saying that when you're shaking your head in bed, there's a Luo saying, when people have sex and they sort of do that.
Yeah.
So there's a Luo saying that when you were shaking your head, there was nobody around.
Yeah. You wanted this.
Yeah, it is.
You made the bed, lay in it. Yeah.
Yeah, so it is about nodding your head in bed. You nodded your head. We have something on the table.
The baby is here now.
Yeah, they cannot. And this is, I think, the problem that a lot of men are having with their children. And even not even men. Parents are having with their children. That you have brought this person into this world. They have their own attitude. They behave a certain way. They don't even like you. And so it becomes a very difficult place to be when you are trying to do the work you're supposed to do to take care of this person. And they are not saying thanks. They do not appreciate your efforts. But they can't appreciate. They have learned nowhere on how to appreciate your efforts. When a child in school gives them a candy, they know that I am supposed to say thank you because that candy is not theirs. It is for someone else. But when you as a parent give candy,
you're supposed to.
The thanks is just a bonus.
Yeah.
It's a bonus, but that's you to provide for. And I remember my mother used to have a lot of tiff with my brother, who was very crazy, And the response is that there is a time I think my mother was so pissed off at him and was asking him, do you know where the maize comes from? You know why my mother was saying that? Because I'm the one providing it. Do you know what my brother told him? That you get it from the market. You see?
Your mom was expecting another response, like
that you need to appreciate.
To revere,
You need to appreciate that we are the ones feeding you.
Yes.
But when he asked, it's what kind of question? The question that do not need answers. Rhetorical.
Yeah.
Where do you think the maize comes from? And my brother says it comes from the market.
Yeah.
And he knew what my mother meant.
Yes. I like that I like that you bring that about because I think a lot of times in parenthood, I'm not a parent, but I think a lot of times in parenthood, kuna hizo feelings zote and you don't really know where to take it or you don't even know how to communicate it because they are valid and they are there. You do feel like it would be nice to get a thanks. It would be nice. I mean, and even airing these feelings out will make you get judged because what do you mean you need to be thanked? But it is a valid feeling and it is within you. Yeah. But I also like that you also mentioned that you're supposed to understand this kid does not owe you anything. Nice. There's someone in the comments actually had written in one of our, on TikToks, alikuwa ameandika, so when does the investment start kicking in on the kid? And I like that a lot of people went to the replies and told them, your child is not an investment. If you had kids so that you can get anything in return, you're having kids for the wrong reason. And a lot of people are actively having kids for this. They think they're having kids as a retirement plan, as an investment plan.
That's such a dangerous thing to do. And it's messing up children big time.
Yes.
big time, where you find a young person that is on a small salary having to...
it's the last video we were discussing black tax.
Yeah.
That's where the comment came from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's difficult when you are told that now your siblings are your responsibility and you are hardly surviving. It's very unfair to do that to children. That's why for me, I've always said that, and it's a very bad investment. Having children as your retirement plan is one of the worst. I mean, you're going to get a loss at the end of the day. Well, you might get a Sakaja as your child. Fine. You can get Uhuru as your child. Fine.
Yeah.
You can get Ruto as your child. Good for you. But what percentage?
Yeah.
That's just 0.0.
And that's why they have 8 kids. They say, hakuna venye out of these 8, moja is equal.
But how about putting money in an investment?
Yeah.
You surely will get something from that. So I do not think that trying to have more kids so that they can take care of you, most of the time, these days they will be taking care of you until they have. The other day, my neighbor was calling me and telling me that he's at his father's place, and I was asking, why are you doing at your father's place in the morning? And my father was attacked by my brother in the night. And he wants money. And the father has already given him an apartment where he lives with his kids.
Was it alcohol?
Apart from that apartment, he was given a shop to run his business that he ran down. So, you can tell that, well, you can have somebody that's going to help you, but at the end of the day, and that is how you lose yourself. I think as people, we should be able to enjoy ourselves late into our adulthood. But most of us stop enjoying ourselves and live for the kids. Something that I do not recommend. I do not like the idea of it. And for me, I did not come into this world to take care of children. That's not me.
Yeah.
No.
You came to live life.
Yeah, I came to live life. Like right now, be 3 adults, be 4 adults, enjoy, travel the world, enjoy coffee.
Have sex.
Where you go...
Don't be scared to say. Have good sex.
Yeah. Yes, Bobbie. Have good sex.
Yes.
I'm not afraid of... Good sex is good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jugs, what are some of the joys of fatherhood? What are some of the things that make you, even if you're not getting this direct, thank you, Daddy, from Maya, what are some of the, thankful moments that you're able to revere and just enjoy because of being a father?
Bobbie, I'm not going to romanticize that question. I'm not going to romanticize that question. Bobbie, I'm not going to romanticize.
Okay, just say one thing.
I'm not going to romanticize that question.
Yeah.
Being a father is like such a huge progress in life. And it teaches you responsibility that you can easily apply in other areas of your life. It teaches you responsibility that you can apply in your business. It teaches you the art of relationship and good, healthy relationship that you can extend to your friends and you can extend to your loved ones around you. It teaches you the growth. And I think that is the most important thing. When you have an iPhone, I don't know whether Android also does that, but what iPhone does is that it keeps reminding you of your photos. I don't know,
Yes.
maybe Androids do it.
Google Photos does
Google Photos.
Yeah.
And so I just see Maya when there is this picture of us going to the village when my wife really hated the village those days. There is a picture of me and my wife and the Mercedes Benz that I bought when I started working, and we had just drove to the shores of River Nyando, and my daughter is having white pampers, and sitting on the bonnet ni mbele ya nyuma ni gani, trunk. Yeah, trunk. And I don't know who took that photo. It's such a beautiful photo of my daughter just laughing. You can't hear the laugh, but you can see she's gone in a laugh. And then my wife is there, still very young, youngish. And then now you see Maya, and you can see the growth the growth of your relationship. And so I think it teaches you growth, that anything you start will always grow. Babies tell you about the start of small things and how they just grow and grow and grow and then become these people that you can send to go get you water. People that
the remote.
yeah, the remote. All those things. So I think it teaches you a lot of things. The biggest thing about being a father is that it teaches you more than it makes you a better person in your other areas of life. I think so. And responsibility, that this person is wholly responsible. I am the only one who is responsible for this life. Without
And
me,
that's a huge
yeah,
responsibility.
without me, this life withers. And it tells you that the way you take care of your child, if you translate that into taking care of your business, you are likely to succeed. If you put it in other relationships around you, it will likely succeed.
Yeah.
Because everything, the growth of something is in different moving limbs of that thing. Because I believe that friendships have got different limbs, moving limbs. Nani mtu akikuomba pesa, you give them and they expect you to give them back. You go out for coffee, you do this and that. You call them, you check on them. If you have cameras, you have to take care of them. If you have crops, you have to water them. You have got plants, you have to water them. If you have cats, you have to feed them. If you want to go to Kisumu and leave your cat around, you have to think about, am I going with this cat or am I going to take this cat to my mother? Like when we both left the city the other day, we had to call our sister to come and take care of that baby. So you can see that there is a lot of growth that is happening.
That's really beautiful. Oh my God, that's so beautiful. Okay, what is the hardest part about being a dad? The complete opposite of my previous question.
The hardest part of being about a dad is...
Or what are some of the challenges that you think
for me,
dads are
I think I should just talk about myself. The biggest problem that I've had is trying to figure out my daughter. Trying to figure out my daughter, trying to figure out the people that I father. Like I've really been struggling with my nephew for the last 1.5 years. He's not listening. He doesn't want to do what is right. I took him to school, he left. And then 8 months later, he tells me that he wants to go to college. When I look at the college, the curriculum in the college, it's exactly the same as the one he had left. You see? I think about my brother's kids every now and again. I have to call the mother and ask them, what is going on. Sometimes I get a phone call in the middle of the night that my brother's kids are sick, they need to be taken to the hospital. So it's just hard. And one of the things that I would really like parents to do is to have insurance for their children. Medical insurance. That thing makes a huge difference. Huge difference. Because children really get sick. And they get sick most of the time when you don't have money. And it is
anytime.
Yeah, when you get money, when you don't have money. But I think that one of the things that have really ravaged families and really put families in a bad place is the issue of health. And most of us do not take care of it when we are okay. We do not get insurance for ourselves. Because insurance, even for 100K for the whole year, can just do a lot. Because when somebody goes to ICU, man, or is just in hospital for 5 days or 10.
A milli easy.
Yeah, you start having a fundraiser. And people don't want to give money because they don't have some.
Yeah. Everyone is struggling in
people
some way.
People are really, really struggling. So I think that is for me is a struggle. And for me, another thing is a baby is such a little thing, and it's like an ant. Somebody can step on them.
Delicate.
Very delicate, and you keep wondering. No, now she's in school. I mean, you think about what's the character of this teacher. And even when you leave them, the other day, a maid servant killed the entire family in Kisumu.
Yeah.
And when you leave your child alone,
even
with a
yesterday, baby Amanda, 2 days ago, have you seen the story?
No.
So there's this 5-year-old kid in Jacaranda, some apartments in Jacaranda. The mother of the kid, the brother, so the kid's uncle, came home drunk, threw the kid from the balcony and then fell with the kid from the balcony and then went for the kid, anamuinua anamgonganisha hivi kwa pavement mpaka mtoto akakufa.
Kwa nini?
I don't know if it's the alcohol or
no,
what.
Alcohol don't do that. Alcohol does not do that.
He was very, very intoxicated.
He was on cocaine or what? He lost his mind.
I don't know. But like, you know, even I can only imagine what being a parent is like, because if you can't even trust your brother. It
is when you have a child and you're not home, you pick every call.
Yeah. It could be anything.
There is no call you can ignore when you are out of home and somebody's calling most of the time. If you know they're in school, you might ignore calls. But you know that it is holiday and somebody and the street number is calling you, you are picking that call.
Yeah.
Even when I go to the village, I always remove, because my phone usually goes off automatically on do not disturb more than 10 p.m. But when I'm home in the village, I remove it. Because only my wife can go through when the do not disturb is on.
Yes.
Yeah. But it might not be my wife who is with the kid at that time.
Yes.
So anybody can be trying to call me.
Yes.
You know, so
you just walk around with all this anxiety as a parent consistently.
Yeah. And I hear it is worse for people with with an only child.
Yeah, because that's your cajewel, you know.
Yeah. I think
are you gonna siblings like
know? So yeah. So it's very. I think it's very interesting.
Oh my goodness, I'm taking away from this episode that we need to also give parents a lot of grace. You know, not only are they walking around with already the normal fears of life or business or money or what, there's just a whole other world of a huge responsibility that they have to take care of. And it's so crazy, you know, if you're not in that world, you hardly ever think like that or you think about that. And now that I've reached a point where I've been able to mend my relationship with my dads, because I have two dads, I always talk about it here. You're always confused about which dad is who. But as someone who has been mending my relationship with my dads actively, I think as an adult, it becomes a responsibility, you know, to fix these relationships. This is something my mom has been preaching to me for years. When you're still angry and hurt and unforgiving, it's difficult to see and even to be able to admit, maybe my dad has his own things going on, and maybe life or the environment he was in or whatever situation was affecting him the way it did for him to become the person he was. For the longest time, I've always had it in my heart that, okay, it's also my first time here and I was his kid. I didn't know any better as well. But by the virtue that he had more experience, he should have taken the time to actually step back and decide to do better. But moving over that hurdle now to a spot where I'm able to even notice the good things about my dad, to be more grateful that he didn't leave. I mean, he left, but he's there now and he's ready to fix things. It's just such a beautiful space to be able to share, to be able to think about.
Has he ever told you what was going on?
No, he hasn't. We've never actually had that conversation. But I think I've just chosen to forgive. I've just chosen to move past it. I don't want to. I mean, if he offers the information, I think you should ask him one of these days.
What were you struggling with?
Yeah.
What was happening
when
you used to beat me? What was going on? Did you just like it, or what was going on? I think it would give you a lot of insight into what was going on.
I think I've answered for myself the question because I see the environment he came from. Like, his dad was a horrible, horrible, violent, drunk man. So he didn't know any better. It's not an excuse or a justification. It's just an explanation. Like, I can see how that environment made him the person he was. So I don't think I need answers because he hurt me. He did what he did. It's fine. I've chosen to forgive and move on. And now I'm able to even celebrate him. Now, but the only reason we've reached this place is because even my parents, as parents, walifika point and they were able to say, hey, we fucked up, but let's fix this. So none of us is living in a limbo of, you know, anger and bitterness and unforgiving hearts. Tuko place yenye tuko able kusema. And I think it puts me at a much better position because at least wako hapa. At least wako alive. At least naenda home ni mongeleshe, you know. It's very different for someone who, like you, maybe cannot go and and say, hey, let's talk. So maybe I'll take your advice and go and ask those questions.
Have a tete-a-tete. I think it would be interesting.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, people of the internet. We are going to 100,000 YouTube subscribers, and we know that you have not subscribed. Please do us the honor. We are celebrating DWJ
At
live
100K.
At 100K in Kisumu City, and socials. 500,000 Facebook, 500,000 TikTok. We are celebrating that in Kisumu City.
Yeah.
So are you coming with me?
Definitely. The people in Kisumu love me.
They
Kisumu,
do. There is a guy who really wants to have you in his podcast. Yeah, I don't know whether he wants just to see you flesh for flesh or
The flesh for flesh.
in flesh. That's what I meant.
I thought you meant raw. But I know what you mean. Yeah, so we can't wait to come to Kisumu and celebrate with you guys. It's going to be big. It's going to be amazing. So please share this podcast to all your friends. Share this link when you watch and you feel like tumekubamba sana. Share to your friends. Post us. We always have snippets. Repost for us. Share for us. Subscribe, like, leave your comments. We always check out the feedback so that we can know what suits us best to discuss next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until another episode then, bye for now.
Bye-bye.